good guys on, baby. Feel the fun vibrations of WYSL. It's
Now, an hour of clarity for exhausted people of our nation mired in toxic partisanship. Left versus right. Us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here live on WYSL, which means that you, the listener, can call in 585-346-3000 or 866-552-1009. And of course, because it's Friday, I am joined by Tim O'Connor. Tim,
welcome to the new and improved Free Solution with 33% more Tim O'Connor.
That's right. All right. So glad you could be here every Friday now, Tim. I love it. And shout down the line to our friends listening over at WACK out in Newark and WENI, the Patriot down Southern Tier. And of course, all of the places we're streaming now too, the Free Solution Facebook page, the Free Solution YouTube channel, my Facebook pages, Kevin Wilson, and Twitter, and then Tim on his Twitter, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. We're all over the place, wherever we need to be. You guys, no excuse for not being able to find us. It's all over. Plus, you can listen to the podcast correct. Too. You got options, folks.
Hey, on that podcast thing, Kevin, if I can give a shout out to the show that we did yesterday when Thomas Daniel Queter called in, and all of our fans and friends on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter only got half the audio. They got me smiling, smirking, nodding at a lot of Queter's comments. So, guys, if you want to check out what Queter was saying, which I think a lot of you do, check out the whole podcast situation. We're libertarians with a podcast, man.
Yeah. And yeah, check it out and just look for A Free Solution. Any podcasting app, you'll be able to find it. And, you know, we got a question from Will says, what is Tim's YouTube?
Boy, that's a great question. Well, I know that I have a YouTube. I know that it's linked to this show. And maybe I could search out during one of the breaks. I can search it out and post it in the comments for you, buddy. And yeah, I appreciate that, man.
We'll post it for y'all. I have a YouTube channel that I have not used in like 6 years, and it contains like one video of me like talking to Rochester City Council from like 2013. That's it. I didn't do like anything with YouTube for my campaign. Shame on me.
Well, basically because it links into StreamYard is why I developed it, right? And so it's also an alternative platform. Like when I was interviewing and talking to Jim Ostrowski, for example, he said a couple things that maybe the Facebook censors might not like. So it's good to have that, or maybe I say things that the Facebook censors wouldn't like. And we put that out there on YouTube, and it's also on Twitter. And so that way it's available and remains available. I also downloaded it to my computer because it was a great interview.
You got to have options. But again, if it does get taken down, all right, you know, like because we've had videos taken down, not because we said anything too crazy, but because Facebook said that like we were had a copyright violation for someone's like stock video. It was like a stock video of like a film thing going or something, and they're like that's copyright, and they took down like hundreds of videos of like me and Andrew from the Radio Free New York days, and we're like, what? Facebook, we bought this stock thing from someone like 3 years ago. What are you talking about?
Intellectual property rights get a little bit confusing anyway. They seem to be this drastic manipulation of, I think that's a whole show, isn't it? Like intellectual property rights and the issues that Facebook is facing, Section 230 and free speech, and whether this Facebook is a platform and whether they're actually making money off of whether they're a publisher or a platform. And are they making money off of people who, are creating content for them? And then should they be able to be sued for something I say that may in fact be too inflammatory or may in fact be some form of harassment or libel? And I think that's one of the issues that we as a society have to figure out how to answer, right? Because I don't think banning Donald Trump from these platforms does anybody any good. And I also don't think that limiting discussion about science, real data, and that includes ivermectin and HCQ, regardless of what your own personal examination has come down to, banning conversations about that makes any sense.
You know, I've never seen anyone taken. I'm gonna make some of you mad about this. I've never seen anyone's post taken down like for just talking about ivermectin because you'll never shut up about it. Like I see it all over the place. The only time I ever see it, the only time I ever see it shut down, like, is if someone's like, you don't need to worry about COVID. Ivermectin can cure it, which is not accurate. It can't cure it. It can help in the early stages of COVID, maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree, but that's you're not making me mad actually, because I still think that this is a legitimate discussion that we can have. Some people are saying that it would substitute for a vaccine. I do feel like, guys, and a lot of people out there's a conversation about vaxxers and anti-vaxxers. I feel like we get into a little realm of moderate bigotry there, where we just label somebody an anti-vaxxer and we discount the fact that they have what may be legitimate concerns about taking a vaccine for them, which I respect. I'm not anti-vaccine.
Wow.
I
That sounds like something an anti-vaxxer would say, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. I do have a medical condition that makes me very concerned with taking vaccines willy-nilly. And it plays right into some of the vaccine side effects that you've been seeing. So like, should I take the vaccine? Shouldn't I take the vaccine? Guys, as far as you all know, I am fully vaccinated. Let's put it that way.
Go that way.
Yeah.
No, I know. We've talked about vaccines a couple times on the show before. It's, you know, there's some legitimate reasons to not do it. Some stuff that I think goes a bit far. You know, we didn't plan to do the whole show on any of this stuff.
No, let's not.
Yeah, right. Like, again, I've done a whole ivermectin show before too, and actually maybe eventually I'm due for an update on that one, because now a handful of new studies came out about that stuff too. So it's changed from when I did it, whatever, like 3-4 months ago. So we'll talk about it now. You know, like the intention to talk about this show. So we got a bunch of stuff coming up. So we're gonna talk about the John McAfee stuff. We're gonna talk about what Biden said. And whether or not he's recommending that we all get personal nuclear weapons, because that's what I heard.
That's one way to take it, isn't it? It's one way to take it.
And then a few other things with the education system and whatnot too. You know, let's start with a little bit of the John McAfee stuff. This might run in the next segment too, but if you haven't heard, John McAfee, who is the tech entrepreneur, founded McAfee Antivirus, has been associated with it for a while. And he committed suicide. Well, that's an apparent suicide in a Spanish prison. The day he was a judge approved his extradition to the U.S. And again, for those of you who don't know John McAfee, he was eccentric, I think is an accurate word.
That's
for
based.
him.
That's based, like the kids are saying. That's totally based. John McAfee was definitely eccentric. Definitely.
Yeah. So he ran for president of the Libertarian presidential nomination in 2016. He also sort of ran in 2020, but he kind of didn't take it as seriously, in part because he was on the run from the U.S. tax authorities at that time. I think he was like on a boat off the coast of Venezuela somewhere until eventually like the Spanish authorities picked him up when he headed up near Europe. So it's a little bit hard for him to actually run for president at the time. You know, there's pictures of him and his wife like just sitting there with some kind of weapon, you know, like just patrolling the seas, like looking out for like government agents taking him in.
Absolutely.
So I met and had a couple conversations with John McAfee. I sat at his table when he went to the New York presidential debates, the New York LP presidential debate back in 2016, talked with his terrifying bodyguard. And yeah, it was a very bizarre experience. He seemed nice enough in that thing, but we kind of broke him. You know, after that debate, he started making weird jokes about doing inappropriate stuff with whales. And for those of you who follow John McAfee, you know what I'm talking about. I can't repeat what he said on air.
Please don't. But
no,
he's a firebrand. He's iconic in a lot of ways, right? He sold his McAfee antivirus software back in I want to say the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s, for like $100 million. You know.
Yeah.
And then after I can't remember who took it over, but he just came out and did a YouTube video and labeled it bloatware. And he's like, you guys got to get this stuff off your computer. They're tracking your movements with it while he's snorting a white substance. Guys, we don't know what that white
yes, I know
substance
exactly
was.
what video you're talking about.
Yeah. And he's like, get that stuff off your computer, and here's how you do it, man.
Yeah, like look up like how to remove like McAfee antivirus and look for the video of him. You will know the screenshot when you see it. It's yeah.
So let me ask you something. You think this is going to start a whole McAfee didn't kill himself like Epstein didn't kill himself thing? Because guys, I'm like, I don't draw conclusions, so I can say what I want, but I think it's possible that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. I don't know what the legal conclusions are, but
yeah, like Epstein. Yeah, no, I'm very skeptical about what happened there. That's a whole mess there. Like we never ended up mentioning this when we did our conspiracy theory show, but like that one, like, oh my goodness, they're like real conspiracy theory where they're trafficking children. Holy cow, connected to possibly billionaires and U.S. politicians and royalty, like actual conspiracy theories. That
don't we think we were able to draw that conclusion that there was a lot of inappropriate sexual activity provided for at Epstein Island? Like, can't we draw that conclusion? I wonder. It
kind of seems, and then anyone who's been traveling over there, we should be looking into that a bit more. And so when we come back, because we're out of time for this segment now, we'll talk a little bit more about John McAfee, some of his stuff, and yeah, like, whether or not there's any conspiracy here going on with John Mac. Did he know something? Are we gonna get a dead drop? All right. We'll be back here on A Free Solution in just a few moments.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle. Accept no substitutes.
Castle keeps it clean. A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
a free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today, joined by Tim O'Connor. And again, we're live here on WYSL until 1 p.m. So give us a call if you want to participate in the discussion, 866-552-1009. For now, we're talking about John McAfee. So where all these conspiracies come from, right? With John McAfee is he kept telling people, he's like, I'm happy. I'm not going to, I don't intend to harm myself. I have good food, good friends, not going to do anything in prison. And then he had his tweet from 2019. He says, nope, if anyone ever tells you I've committed suicide, that's not true. And then he was promoting his whacked cryptocurrency, which is partially what he's in trouble for too. He's in trouble for pump and dump schemes with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, tax evasion is a pretty serious situation. So is fraud. Let's pretty serious in that you will go to jail for it. You will be punished for it. They will take your liberty. They will take your property. They will take everything from you if you participate in that sort of thing.
Yes. Yep. The government, if you don't pay your taxes, they will throw you in a cage. If you resist, they will hurt or kill you. That's how it goes. That's what the nature of taxation in governments is. And, if you don't like it, then, well, you should probably be a libertarian.
You don't have a choice, ladies and gentlemen. All right. If you want less government, there is no party out there arguing for less government rather than slightly less government is not arguing for less government. They're saying slightly less government than the other guy. Okay. That's all they're saying. So when the other guy, one guy says $6 trillion worth of stimulus and the bad parent says, no, you can only have $5.25 trillion worth of imaginary money. The only party that will put an end to that is the Libertarian Party, and you guys got to deal with that. You got to accept that.
That's it. That's how it goes. I would love for the Republicans don't even talk about that anymore. Democrats, they're in the opposite direction. But anyway, so John McAfee had all this stuff out, and so that made it seem like, all right, so he's not going to do anything because he told people he wasn't going to do anything. I know, I'm not sure. I think he probably did actually commit suicide. It's a very sad situation because John McAfee also is the type of dude who would find it funny to rile a bunch of people up by saying he would never kill himself and then do that. And following him for a few years, talking to him several times, he's exactly the type of dude who would want to mess with people that way.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
but maybe.
What kind of secrets could he have? Like the secret to unlocking the crypto world? I mean,
so allegedly, right? So this is what because when he was talking about this stuff when he was out on the run, he was like, well, I've got a whole bunch of data on, I think he said he had some of the Epstein stuff. He had a bunch of data on US government officials. And he said he created a dead drop where if he didn't check in, about terabytes of data would end up going out. And well, it hasn't happened yet. If it does, then cool. I mean,
this weekend, it's coming out this weekend, guys. Look forward to it. I can't wait. I'm on that email list. As soon as it hits my email, right. I'm gonna go live on Facebook. I'm gonna go live on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'll see if WSL will let me on the air, and I will let you know what the dead drop is.
Do a special edition. We're gonna break in and
breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news, and we're gonna see what John McAfee had to say. If he comes out, I don't think it's going to happen. He would occasionally make promises that he did not intend to keep. There's one associated with Bitcoin, which I can also not read on the air.
Right.
And again, if you follow the guy, look at this guy. His Twitter's hilarious. When I got to interact with people like him and Austin Peterson and Gary Johnson and Vermin Supreme, at the New York Libertarian Party convention in 2016 and down in Orlando, Vermin Supreme is the fun, going to do weird stuff with you kind of crazy. John McAfee is he was a very nice guy, and I've heard other people say he's a very nice dude, but he's the type of crazy, I feel like if I hung out with him too much, he would definitely get me arrested.
Yeah, there's people like that. Austin Peterson, on the other hand, is not that kind of guy by any stretch of the imagination, right? He's kind of like a straight-laced, almost conservative, very libertarian.
Yeah,
very libertarian for a conservative. Let's put it that way. And unfortunately, I think he got frustrated with the Libertarian Party, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He left, became a Republican, and now he's one of those folks who likes to badmouth the party.
I think he's got a specific segment of the party that he badmouths, and I think first of all, I don't like party politics anyway. The Libertarian Party is just the right amount of party politics for me, man. We argue over our dumb stuff. We try to prove to everyone that we're the best libertarian out there, and then at the end of the day, we try to find a guy to support like Thomas Daniel Queter and get behind him and help him run a race, you know?
Queter for president.
Or something, anything. Queter for anything. Queter for town board. Queter for Senate. Queter for America, ladies and gentlemen. Queter for America.
Now, that guy's gonna win something. I know.
No doubt.
Yeah. So that's anyway, that's mostly what I got. The John McAfee stuff. Like I said, interesting character. We've lost someone interesting. He's had a very colorful past. Some of it worrisome. Some of it wholesome. A complicated guy, and I'll be really interested to see if anything comes out. Like I hope they do investigate what happened with him, because
like the P.T. Barnum of the Libertarian Party right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we got a comment from Ed, because you'd made the thing about imaginary money. Ed on Facebook says, when I comment about imaginary money, it's usually someone that gets very offended. They don't want to hear the bad news. Sorry, man. We're in the business of telling the truth here. You know, Ed, we ain't gonna pull the punches.
I'm an economics guy. I went to college for economics, man. We had the rules, this modern monetary theory stuff that's going on. They're always like, well, nothing bad's really happened so far. And I'm like, well, first of all, the fact that the dollar's devalued to like ridiculous amounts is bad. Okay. And that is we're devaluing it further is also bad. And that we're using it to buy political opinions and get politicians that answer the state, that they're serving the state. The state is the customer. We're using that imaginary money to create this behavior. That all of those things are problematic, and I don't understand why people don't understand that.
Yeah, no, none of it's great. And eventually the bill will come due. Eventually, what'll end up happening is that we won't be able to sell those bonds, because that's how our debt is financed. We sell treasury bills, right? And they get them at a low percentage right now because people assume that we're going to pay it back. But eventually people are going to be like, it's a little bit too much risk. I'm going to need to see a higher interest rate just to make sure that in case you don't pay that back when I expect, I get a little bit more in return. And once that starts happening, that's when we're in trouble.
Yeah, at some point last year, we had like a negative interest rate. Like they were like paying you to take money. Okay, they're like, here. It's like an infinitesimally small amount, but they're still like, if you borrow money from us right now, we'll pay you. And all you got to do is loan it out, like give it to somebody. They're creating money by fiat too. Like they're basically just moving decimal points and saying, all right, well, that account has $1 trillion in it right now. And then they move the decimal point and now they have 10 trillion. It's magic. We should audit the Fed. Oh, do I sound like a lunatic saying that? Is Ron Paul crazy? Should we audit the Fed?
Well, you got other people like John Katko now supports auditing the Federal Reserve. He's the congressman from like the Syracuse, Central New York area. So he's not in your area. Who you got right now? Tenney, is that your congresswoman out there?
Tenney is my congresswoman. Actually, I think I'm on the borderline. Tenney and Delgado issues there. And New York's so gerrymandered, it's almost impossible, even a politically active guy like myself, to accurately answer that question. And it's going to change.
So you don't need to learn it now. Like Tim, at this point, it's going to change next year. So like,
might as well just not worry about it. No, yeah, it was Delgado this last time.
Okay, so that's a yours. All right, so Tenney's a little bit further north. I forget exactly how that district goes. I used to live over there.
She goes through Otsego County. She goes through my home county.
Yeah.
So does Delgado. Like it's a gerrymandered mess, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Oh, my brother's out there in the audience on the Facebook Live. That's cool.
All right, cool. Yep. So
that's my brother Pat.
We're still rolling down. It says, it's all good when you're rolling down the runway. It's only when you roll off the end that seems like a problem. That's exactly it. It's great. We're cruising along right now, and it seems great. But eventually we're gonna hit that wall. one of these, we're fall off the cliff, whatever metaphor you want to use, like eventually it's going to become a problem, and it's going to start accelerating fast, because the moment people start losing faith that the U.S. government's going to pay it back, people panic. People are going to freak out. All right. So thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. We're headed into break now, but again, if you want to participate in the discussion, leave your comments online or give us a call, 866-552-1009. We'll be back with more Free Solution with Kevin Wilson and Tim O'Connor. Talk to you soon.
Now it's Dan Bongino, weekday afternoons. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Mostly cloudy, a little warmer, more humid out there. Could be a shower after midnight. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s on Saturday. Quick hitting shower storm in the morning, then clouds, a bit of sun, a bit of a breeze, warm, muggy, mid and upper 80s with just a slight thunder threat in the afternoon, and looking very hot, 90 degrees or higher on Sunday. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
This is Vinny Dallo, founder of Cabin Financial. I want to ask you a question. How's your health? In today's environment, personal health is a top priority. I'll be more specific. How's your financial health? We all know the importance of getting a checkup, but when was your last financial checkup? If it's been a while, or you want to make sure that you're on track financially, then you should schedule a financial checkup. That's why you should call Cap'n Financial. We specialize in taking a look at your financial situation and work together to get you on the best track and in the best health of your financial life. Find us online at capnfinancial.com or call today, 585-248-6769.
Vinny Dallo is a financial advisor offering investment advisory services through Eagle Strategies, LLC, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Cap'n Financial, its employees, nor Nylife Securities, LLC, or its representatives or affiliates provide tax, legal, and accounting advice. Please consult your own tax, legal, or accounting professional before making any decisions.
Historically, Democrats have relied heavily on the courts to establish their policy goals because they are too radical for the normal legislative process. One of these unpopular policy objectives forced on unwilling Americans through the courts is abortion. But the Democrats lost control of the Supreme Court for the first time in decades with the appointment of Justice Barrett. The easiest way to insulate their abortion policies from being overturned by the will of the people is to add justices. The Biden administration launched a commission to study the concept of adding 4 justices to the court. A few days later, Democrat senators from New York and Massachusetts announced a bill that would expand the court to 13. 4 Biden appointees would shift the current conservative-leaning court back to a liberal-leaning one. What would packing the court mean for abortion? This Real Abortion News Update is sponsored by Compass Care.
I'll never forget it. It was 17 years ago. I was riding my Harley-Davidson Wide Glide. I'm riding down Route 119 on a beautiful sunny afternoon, and the wind is blowing through my helmet. So I'm right along, and I thought, what the hell is that sound? I pulled over to the side of the road, shut the engine off, and the noise was still there. Cicadas.
Oh no!
They were that loud 17 years ago, and folks,
They're back!
WYSL, the home of Quinn in the Morning.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental, Route 20A in Geneseo, is Livingston County's most complete rental center. Geneseo Hardware and Rental has a wide selection of equipment rental items for all your project needs. Over 6,000 square feet with a large selection of plumbing, electrical, home and garden, and much more. Geneseo Hardware offers Valspar paint, plus screen and window repair. Route 20A next to Wegmans Plaza. Visit Geneseo-rental.com.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental has your pool and spa needs.
When you feel sick for whatever reason, don't wait to get help. Noise Health Urgent Care now offers telemedicine appointments using your device to meet with a provider face-to-face from the comfort of your home. Call 585-243-9595 to schedule an appointment. Noise Health Urgent Care is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, even weekends and holidays. Walk-ins welcome at our Geneseo location, 50 East South Street. Digital X-ray available too. Noise Health Urgent Care. Your health care, your way.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today, joined by Tim O'Connor, co-hosting today, and most Fridays he'll be on with us. We're live here on WYSL until 1 p.m., so give us a call, 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009 or 585-346-3000, whichever number you want to call. Shout out down the line to our friends listening over at WACK out in Newark and WENI, the Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. Our friends listening online, a Free Solution, the Facebook page, Free Solution, the YouTube channel, or either of the plethora of Kevin Wilson or Tim O'Connor pages. There's a whole bunch out there. Our podcast too, look for a Free Solution. And I was reminded during one of the breaks, you can also catch our podcast over at WYSL1040.com. Look for the podcast there, Free Solution. They're up there for 30 days. You can download them. No one can take them down, not YouTube, not Facebook, not Spotify, which has some of our podcasts up there. You can download them, have it for yourself. It's all yours. Go nuts, guys. All right. So anyway, we are going to shift topics a little bit. And we got this comment from Ed. How about Mr. Biden telling me I need F-15s to take them on? Yes. Good timing, Ed, because we were planning on talking about that anyway. We're talking about Joe Biden's comments. Joe Biden is trying to squeeze through some more Second Amendment violating gun control legislation and or executive orders. And in response to people who say like they need weapons in case the government gets tyrannical, he said, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
It's just amazing. It's amazing. This is like the Eric Swalwell doctrine, the guy that was actually hanging out with Chinese spy for multiple months. One of his claims to fame is like, yeah, you could fight the government. The government has nuclear weapons. And here we have the president of the entire United States, in a way, issuing what I would call an indirect statement of power to give his supporters this dopamine rush where, oh my God, we're so powerful. If you want to fight us, we have nuclear weapons and F-15s. By the way, people have been asking, how much does a F-15 cost? Do we have any idea?
Several $1 million each.
Do they take Bitcoin?
They should. I've got a really good, it's an old fake news item, but I got a really good one for me. Maybe I'll say it in a sec, but I do want to mention something about this too. People keep saying like, oh, President Biden threatened to nuke gun supporters or something, but he didn't say that. Like Eric Swalwell came pretty close to saying that. Joe Biden didn't say that. Joe Biden said something that was also stupid, that you need nuclear weapons if you were to ever fight the U.S. government. The Viet Cong didn't have nuclear weapons. The Taliban and Al Qaeda didn't have nuclear weapons.
How do we make out in Afghanistan, folks?
Yeah,
let's be real here.
No, you don't need nuclear weapons to fight the government.
I try not to get involved in being so offended that I lose my mind, right?
Yeah.
But when I see something that dystopian, okay, that he makes that statement, it just for lack of decorum, and I'm not even a decorum guy, but like you shouldn't be saying stuff like that and be president of the United States. I get that people want to argue for gun control. It's obviously an infringement on human rights. So we actually have a libertarian, check this out, right? Jim Ostrowski, Dwayne Whitmer, they actually made, and they argued it before a Supreme Court clerk on Monday of this week, and we haven't heard back yet. The government tyranny argument is the argument that they made to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I'm very curious how that turns out. They're challenging a handful of specific New York State gun laws, and challenging them on the fundamental rights idea, right? Like they have a fundamental right to defend yourself, and that violating that right through unnecessary, rigorous, like licensing hoops, arbitrary barriers, stuff like that is a fundamental right. Like that's the summary argument. We're gonna have to have Jim and Dwayne and whatnot on to talk about that sometime.
That would be great. There's another guy that, if you're interested in gun control, and one of the things that's always interested me in gun control is how it came about, how it's enforced, especially in urban areas. Have you ever heard of Maj Touré?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Black Guns Matter. He's part of that crew. He is an excellent advocate for the fact that the suspension of 2A in certain areas has actually been the real problem. Okay. That what we're seeing, and he's as responsible, advocacy for responsible gun ownership, as I think we all are. But the fact that people in densely populated urban areas don't have had their rights abridged to defend themselves actually creates this soft target. What do you think about that? We should try to get Maj Touré on here, man. He's a firebrand.
Yeah, no, he's an interesting fellow. He's been on again, friend of a Free Solution. He's been on the Liberty Show. And so we've talked about him on this show before, but never had him on. But he's an interesting guy, and again, specifically advocating for how urban populations are vulnerable because it's harder to access guns in some of these areas. And we've seen court cases challenging some of these like city-specific ordinances that restrict gun rights, but there's always a few things that exist at county and city levels that do infringe on that. And then particularly in violent areas, like we're seeing a rise in violence in the city of Rochester right now, it would be good for the citizens here to be able to have the right to defend themselves. And most of the violence taking place is by people who are not obtaining guns legally, right? So those folks still wouldn't be able to do that. If you have violent felonies, you still can't get a gun legally. But if you are a law-abiding citizen, you should be able to get that gun. You should be able to defend yourself. It is your right to do so. And Joe Biden wants to take that away, in addition to all the local
law-abiding citizens in areas like Rochester have had their rights abridged. They use economic machinations. They use access machinations. In New York City, you can't have your gun outside of your house for more than an hour and a half. The odds of you owning a car in New York City and being able to take some sort of shotgun or rifle to a shooting range and get back home in an hour and a half are zero. So you have the gun outside of your house for more than an hour and a half, you're a felon. Okay. Now, sure, maybe it'd be hard to prove that, but guys, this is ridiculous. Law-abiding citizens have the right to defend themselves, their family, and their property. And that is what was embodied in the Constitution. And sometimes the Constitution isn't even great at protecting natural rights because we abridge it and we write laws that shorten up mess with the interpretation. And guys, let's face it.
Well, let me just mention something real quick. Remember, the Constitution doesn't give us the right to bear arms. We have that right. The Constitution restricts the government from violating that right and puts it in writing. That's what that does.
Just delineates it on a piece of paper, guys. Those rights existed. It's a concept of natural law. And the social contract, guys, be damned. I don't know what that is. I see that nonsense everywhere. Stop it.
Yeah, and so actually, I know we only have a couple minutes left. I want to mention like a brief story because you had mentioned the idea of like getting like F-15s with Bitcoin. There's a moment in history where the Russian government or the Soviet government wanted to get a bunch of Pepsi. So what they did is in order to get Pepsi, is they traded the Pepsi Cola company a bunch of warships like submarines and like battleships for just a literal boatload of Pepsi. And so for a brief
earlier, what? Yeah, I didn't know that one.
This was as the Soviet Union was collapsing, and so for like a brief period in time, Pepsi had one of the world's largest navies because the Soviet government they didn't have like the other means of being able to buy this stuff, and they were just trying to get stuff for their people. So they They paid for it with Pepsi. Pepsi, I think, ended up giving it back to the U.S. government, which is a shame because, like what we could have had that libertarian dream of a, Pepsi Cola company operating as an independent quasi state.
So some of the shows I did, Kevin, when I was running for office, I talked about how the Coke versus Pepsi wars were just this imaginary argument to increase both of their market share. And they did it to crap all over RC Cola. As you can see in my background, if you're on Facebook, I carry RC Cola, but I have it available to me all the time just to make the point. But this adds an entirely new dimension to the Coke versus Pepsi wars that I was completely unaware of.
Pepsi had Coke way outgunned. Literally at one point.
Literally outgunned. Michael Jackson had nothing on.
and I looked up, they had the 6th largest navy in the world at the time.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Pepsi Cola company.
I'm going to have to do some research on that. And I've been doing a lot of research because I'm ready for Fake News Friday. I got a couple, they're going to stump you, man.
All right. Looking forward to it. And folks, I'm going to post a link to that Pepsi story. So if you're listening on the radio, go check out A Free Solution on Facebook or any of the other places. And I'll post a link to that Pepsi warship story. But when we come back, it'll be time for Fake News Friday. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. We're going to be back in just a few minutes.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
a free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. It's Fake News Friday. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today, joined by Tim O'Connor. And of course, Fake News Friday is where we try to stump each other with headlines and try to figure out if it's fake news or real news. And Tim, I know you're excited.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, so we had a caller last Thursday. I think it was the Thursday before, who wanted to know what we knew about the CIA investing in Facebook. And we basically kind of shrugged it off and we said, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, okay? But I did get to see, my brain got simulated. I kind of did some research. And so it turns out, guys, check this out. You're going to have to decide whether this is fake news or not. The CIA did sponsor a ton of research and offered it to Zuckerberg in a way to say, hey, this is a way that we can control people's behavior. Do you want to help us accumulate data? And here's like a couple $1 million for your work on this research. Fake news, real news. What do you think?
I mean, it sounds like something that the CIA would do because government programs they ask companies for this stuff all the time. They want behavioral research, psychological profiles. They want to be able to monitor dangerous situations, for good or bad. And then they do it with like movies and whatnot too. Like the U.S. military, will be like, hey, we'll give you a bunch of money to change this movie and make us look good. So that happens all the time as well. NFL takes money to do the same thing. I'm gonna say that's real. That sounds real.
Okay, you are right but not wrong, or wrong but not right. Okay, so what I want to point people in the direction of is that dopamine is a brain neuron molecule that basically it encourages your brain to behave in certain behavior for a stimulative reward to your nervous system. Okay, the CIA has in fact done research on dopamine and dopamine production and ways to stimulate it. Now, the truth here is actually a little bit stranger than my story. And I'm referring to a Wired article from 2014. And basically what it is the CIA actually knows less about you than Facebook. And Facebook knows more about how to control your behavior through dopamine rushes than the CIA. They're actually, so if you guys want to check this out, I'll post a link, but it's actually the headline came down to Facebook knows more about you than the CIA. And I thought our conspiracy friend that called in and asked us that question would enjoy that.
All right. So it's not that the CIA was funding this and doing this. It's more that Facebook knows more of that information.
I couldn't find a direct link where money was given to Zuckerberg or Facebook to do research on dopamine stimulation. But let's make no mistake, guys, social media is a dopamine stimulant, and that's how they hook you in. That's why people say crazy things to get a like, and that's why people are fighting for that brain chemical. And they're doing it for free, man. And you guys can see the media is moving down that direction. They want dopamine stimulation. They want people upset and getting this chemical reward in their brain, kind of triggering an addiction. Not kind of triggering an addiction.
Yeah, and Facebook 100%, they allow researchers to look at this stuff and to occasionally run experiments on this stuff. It's kind of what got him in trouble a little bit, both in 2016 and a little bit before that, because he used to be able to access a lot of this graph information from Facebook. And it turns out that political actors are using it, even though it's only supposed to be used for academic research purposes only, but people were accessing this information and using it to, do political manipulation.
Yeah, prop up campaigns. It was a campaign strategy.
Yeah, which
they sold private information from, Facebook sold private information to campaign operations, excuse me.
Yeah, which, their own rules said they weren't supposed to do, right? And and again, you as a campaign advertiser, and I've been in that position for it, you are kind of expected to push people, right? It's campaign advertising is what it is. But Facebook allowed way more personal information, and they gave it to the Obama campaign, and then later on, the Clinton campaign, than they really ought to have by their own rules.
By their own rules. They break their own rules. They don't really get punished. And so what's to stop them from doing it again? A new law? I mean, they'll just
And
sell it a different way.
It supposedly is the research company that violated the rules, not Facebook, but Facebook didn't catch it very well.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
So anyway, here's one I saw a couple weeks ago. This will be quick. Andrew Cuomo lifted COVID restrictions last week, 2 weeks ago, because his daughter was getting married. Fake news or real news?
Now, the issue that the word there that is the problem is because did he lift COVID restrictions in time for his daughter's wedding? Yes. Could it be surmised or inferred that he lifted COVID restrictions because of? And guys, he's how many times is he going to lift COVID restrictions? He just made an announcement this week, like how he ended the state of emergency, even though he still has emergency powers. Like, come on, man, this guy is he's an authoritarian clown, and he's embarrassing. When he says follow the science, you know that he doesn't know anything about science. He knows nothing about data collection, and he's a mess. All right. And he named a bridge after his father. What kind of clown would do that? Stop it.
So Cuomo's a clown, but all right. Fake news or real news?
I'm going to say that's fake news. I think just because of the word "because" in there. We can't.
No. All right, I'll give it. It's even more fake than that, because the article that people were conflating was an article about a Cuomo daughter wedding, but it happened in 1993, and it was Mario Cuomo's daughter. It was Andrew Cuomo's sister. Andrew Cuomo's daughters are not getting married anytime soon. There's no wedding plan. That nothing to do with that. People saw this old article, shared bits of it, and then
man, I got played by the internet because I really thought his daughter got married recently. That is hilarious. That's the tricks that dopamine can play on you.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, oh yeah, I'm like, I agree. This confirms my opinion that Cuomo is a jerk, and he would totally do something like that because he's done similar things in the last year. And then you're like, oh well, I guess this must be real. And it's
just because it's confirmation bias doesn't mean it's wrong. But I guess in this case, it is wrong.
Yeah, it was correct. That's
fake news.
All right. Do you have another one for us?
I got a couple I'm kicking around with.
I go again. I got another one. If you
all right, yeah. Bring on your next one.
All right. So, been a bunch of news about the cicadas down in some areas. Like they're not where we are up in Rochester, but down in DC, pretty big. Are people harvesting those cicadas and putting them in tacos? Is that real news or fake news?
I am going to tell you right now that Gen X cicadas are the tastiest cicadas ever. That is absolutely 100% real news.
Have you eaten one of the Brood X cicadas
yet?
I'm
not making them. I'm making up my enthusiasm, but this is real news. I know. But yeah,
it is real news. People really were harvesting them and putting them in like tacos and burritos and stuff. And apparently people were doing it so much that the CDC put out a warning and being like, hey, if you're allergic to shellfish, you're going to be allergic to cicadas too.
Do they taste like shrimp? Because I really like shrimp.
Maybe you're going to have to go and chomp on some and tell me what they taste like. Like there's not any around here. I need fresh, locally sourced cicadas in order to get the good experience.
Kevin, I got a burning thing. We got to grab this last 30 seconds here.
All right.
My kid is graduating. This is graduation weekend. Kids out there, this is one of the most dangerous weekends of your life. I want you to be safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to learn how to recognize stress. Even good stress can cause you to make really, really bad decisions. So congratulations to all you guys. I'm so proud of my own daughter, my 16-year-old. I would have lifted COVID restrictions just to be able to go to her graduation. And guys, I just want you all to be careful. I want you to come back next week. Part of the reasons why I run my mouth all the time is for this next generation. And so please be careful. Please enjoy your weekend. Please be safe.
Tim, yeah, good, important message. And congratulations to your daughter. That's a huge accomplishment. That's awesome. I know you must be so proud. And but a great message. Stay safe this weekend, y'all. This is I know a dangerous weekend where people make silly decisions, bad decisions in celebration or stress, whatever it is. But congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, congratulations, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Guys, Ed, Will, guys, we appreciate all the comments. That's why we do it, man. Thank you very much.
All right. We're out for today, folks. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back on Monday with more of Free Solution. Take care.